It's the Sheriff Podcast, baby. Yeah. It's the Sheriff, AHL Man of the Year. 500 pro fights in his career. Got the record for most ice fights in the season. You fought the Sheriff, lucky you're still breathing.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another special edition of the Sheriff Podcast. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there is one job in hockey that earns the respect and attention of everybody in the hockey arena. Now, sometimes we love them. Sometimes they save us. Sometimes we even want to kill them. But regardless, ladies and gentlemen, we have to respect them. And I'm talking about the hockey referee. Now, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to go through a journey that takes you from Woodstock minor hockey straight to the National Hockey League. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls all over the world, I would like to introduce to you my guest tonight. He hails from Woodstock, Ontario, at 6'3", 230 pounds. He is a heavyweight. He is a professional hockey referee. He is experienced ref in 11 different leagues, ladies and gentlemen. Currently the president of Woodstock Minor Hockey, made his NHL debut November 11th, 2001. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, my friend Bob Langdon. How are you doing today, my man?
I'm great.
I gotta give a clap.
That introduction is insane.
We
that's
clap
huge.
for each other around
That's
here, my
huge.
man.
That's huge. I'm clapping for you because that introduction was awesome.
Well, Bob, I appreciate that. And I first and foremost, I want to point out how unique of a situation that we're in right now. Because as we were speaking before the recording, it's not too often that you get to pick a referee's brain. Now, I want to explain why to the audience because we were talking about it. Now, while a ref is in his duty, really he's not really supposed to be talking about how it works, correct?
You're not supposed to talk. You're not supposed to talk to the players. You're not supposed to talk about procedures. But, you know, it's good to have a good rapport with people. It gets you places.
Exactly. So now, why I feel honored, Bob, is you made it, bro. You made it all the way to the show, okay? So now, I know you nearly reffed 100 games in the NHL, and it must be such an honor to do that. But what's more importantly is I feel that making it all the way to the top in something, there was a journey that came with that. There was an important journey that came with that. And I really want to get into it because I'm so interested and so intrigued by how you started and how you got reffing. So let's get into it, buddy. We're going to talk some Woodstock, Ontario.
All right, Woodstock, Ontario. 11 years old. Give it up, Woodstock, Ontario.
Let's hear it, Woodstock.
All right.
We like Woodstock over here.
Who doesn't? I was 11 years old. My mom and dad started running minor hockey. I'm at the arena all the time, the Civic Center Arena in minor hockey in Woodstock. Had a key to the arena because that's how we get in. So I was on the ice all the time. If someone wasn't on the ice, I was on the ice. I'm at the arena. I started timekeeping. You know, it's good. It's a little extra money. I'm at the rink anyway. Then I started reffing. I thought, I like this. So as it progressed, I reffed up there. And after I was done playing junior hockey, I started a little dab in the Colonial Hockey League, and then it was as a player, and then I was like, nope, I'm a referee. So then that's it. I started that journey.
And I appreciate that story. Thanks for sharing, but I'm not going to let you off that easily, Mr. Bob.
All right.
So now, back to when we were 11 years old. Now, your parents pretty much took over minor hockey in Woodstock, which I find is really, really cool, man. So can you explain what that means? Like, did you guys own the arena? Did you own the rights to all the teams?
No.
How did that work?
No, what it was, my dad just got on the board, the minor hockey board of directors. I think my mom started in minor mothers, and then she got on the board. My dad was the president, the equipment manager, a director. He did everything. And they built a whole new minor hockey office at the Civic Center.
Wow.
And they did it up to, my dad passed away 11 years ago.
I'm really sorry to hear that, Bob.
Yeah, thank you. Amazing guy. He did it right up to then. My mom still does it. This is her last year, 45th year. She's retiring finally.
No way.
That's it. So minor hockey might be in a little bit of trouble, but we'll see what we can do. But yeah, they did it the whole time.
Okay, so your mother is still in charge of minor hockey in Woodstock. She's thinking about it being her last year, so that's cool. Right on.
Hopefully not, but yeah, probably that's what she says. Yeah.
So one thing we could say for sure is that Woodstock's been in really good hands for minor hockey the past how many years, Bob?
45 years.
Wow. Okay, right on.
Yeah.
So, all right, so fair enough. So now, getting a key to the arenas, like I could only imagine what that would have been like as a kid, man. So you and your buddies must have went late at night, played some shinny. You must have, man.
Maybe. Maybe. No, the arena. The
What were you doing, Bob?
Yeah, the city was closed, so we couldn't use it. But no, yeah, if no one was on the ice, we were on the ice.
There you go. No, and I appreciate that. So now, when you're doing the timekeeping, when you were doing the reffing, you were also playing junior at the same time, right? Like you were doing everything combined.
Yeah, I went up and I played all through minor hockey and I reffed, and then I played junior hockey in Woodstock while I was reffing. And then when I went off to junior B, I took a little hiatus from reffing. Yeah. But then literally Willie Norris was an NHL supervisor at the time. He actually talked to our general manager, Angie Nigro at the time, the late Angie Nigro, and he said, you know what, we're really looking for guys, and Bobby should, get back into reffing. So before I was even back reffing, I kind of got pushed back into reffing.
Okay, this is interesting. So you're starting to hear about an opportunity that you may have in this field. And so what was it that made you decide, Bob? Like, what was it that made you go for it? Because there must have been a point where you had to decide.
I played a couple exhibition games of the Colonial Hockey League, and they were going to offer me like $300 to be a fourth line player, and I know I could make that in 1 game, 2 games refereeing, so I thought it's a better path for me.
100%. So, okay, so now this reminds me, when I was doing my research, I did read about a story that you were a spectator at a Colonial game.
Yeah.
They were short a couple officials. You knew the guys that were in the game as officials, and they actually had some extra gear, and you jumped on. Can you talk about that?
I was on a family Christmas trip in Frankenmuth, going around Saginaw. So we went to thought, let's go watch a Colonial Hockey game in Saginaw, and my buddy, it was my second year in the OHL, and my buddy Mark Hicks was reffing the Colonial game, and I'm like, so I might have been a couple beers deep in the first period. And I noticed there's only 2 guys. So after the first period, I went down and I said, Hicksy, you're missing a guy. He goes, you got your stuff? I go, no. He goes, we'll get you some stuff. So they literally got me players' shin pads, Toronto Raptors track pants, and a yellow jersey and a white helmet. And I went out and did lines for the next 2 period. And then Bob Myers, who was running the league at the time, calls me and he goes, you know what? Here you helped us out. How about you come and do lines for the league? So that's how I got my pro debut on the lines.
I mean, I was pretty sure that was the pro debut, but I'm glad that I brought that up because that makes complete sense. So that is like that's got to be destiny in a way, Bob. Like, I mean, you're on a family vacay, you end up reffing a game.
It kind of pulled me in.
What's going on, man?
Yeah, it pulled me in, and it was funny because then I went back doing lines in the OHL, and I started reffing in the OHL after 3 or 4 years. And then I'm doing lines in the Colonial League, and Bob Myers calls me on a Monday. Hey, did you ever think about reffing pro hockey? Yeah, sure. He goes, Friday, you're going into Thunder Bay.
No way.
And I was like, okay. So flew me into Thunder Bay. The first game, there was I think there was almost 200 minutes in penalties. There was 14 fights, and it was awesome. It was thrown right into the fire. Loved it.
Well, I appreciate you sharing this. So now, Bob, like I was mentioning before, obviously very unique episode. I'll be honest, I've never heard an episode other than our Zoom episode about an ex-player and a ref kind of going back and forth about things. So this is really cool for me. I want to reach out to the audience people that are interested in reffing because there's got to be a big percentage of people that are interested in that part of the game. Now, one thing about it is you guys have complete control of the game.
Yeah.
You guys have attention of both teams, everyone in the crowd, everyone that's watching on TV. And in a split moment, you can go from 0 to 100 real quick, man, depending on what decision you're going to make. That's a lot of pressure, okay? How do you feel having all that responsibility, man? It's got to be the same feeling as the audience members that want to be refs.
Yeah, well, me personally, I love it because I like being in control, but it's all about how you handle it. It's about developing a rapport with the players, the coaches, because I like to manage the game. Because there's a time and a place for penalties. A penalty's not a penalty. Yeah. In reality, I know they say a penalty's a penalty. It's not. There's a time and place for penalties. Score, time of the game. There's lots of variables. But nowadays they can't. It's hard to teach that. But that's the way it should be, and that's the way the game should be played. And in my league, the Western Ontario Super Hockey League, trying to bring it back. So
yes.
But it's hard. You can't teach that, and you see guys get all antsy about it.
It's true. So now here's another angle that I wanted to bring to it. So now when a ref first breaks in, like for example, Bob, I think my first year in the OHL was your last year in the OHL.
Yeah.
So we got to see each other. I know that you ref me when I was on the Kitchener Rangers.
Yeah.
I know that you also ref me when I was in the American Hockey League, and I believe some NHL preseason games too as well.
Yeah.
Now, the thing I noticed about you, the difference between you and other refs is I noticed that some refs, like I was a rougher player, I get a roughing penalty, he blows the whistle, 23 roughing, and it seems like he's mad. The guy's mad, he's taking it personal, and I'm like, man, why are you mad at me? I'm just trying to do my job. With you, it was all business.
Yeah.
I remember a quote that you would say, either fight or F off. Either fight or F off. Can you explain that for the listeners?
You know what? I still say that because I don't like people wasting time. I don't like either do it or don't. Like, don't yibber yabber. Let's get it on or beat it. That's it.
But like, okay, so now for the audience that's not huge hockey people,
Yeah.
let's get more specific. There's a shot on goal.
Yeah.
Goalie makes the save. There's a crowd in front. A little bit of pushing and shoving.
Yeah.
Okay? And you come in and say either fight or F off. So what
Yeah.
exactly do you mean by that?
Because that's it. Either you're gonna jam each other,
Yeah.
or you're gonna fight, or you're just gonna beat it. So just skate
Yeah.
away. Like, there's no need for the after stuff. I'd rather you fight because then you're getting it out of your system. Because it's better than sticking each other and yapping. Because I can't stand yapping.
And I appreciate you sharing that, buddy. And the reason why I'm smirking is it's kind of leading up like to the next point. So now we're talking about either fight or F off. I would like to ask you, well, I read about it, so I'm kind of cheating.
Yeah.
I would like to ask you about your most storied time, if that's the right word, where two NHL heavyweights were on the ice throwing down, where you were the ref. Now, I read that the game was in Colorado,
Yeah.
and it was Mr. Peter Worrell against Mr. George Larocque. Can you explain what that was like, being a part of that type of thing?
Well, going into a game like that, you know it's coming. Like,
Yeah.
you know it's coming. So it's like, all right, let's go. When it's ready to go, it's like, all right. So it's like, basically, you're just telling everyone, let's go. They're set the stage. Set the stage. Here it goes. And it's like, all right, fellas, let's get it on. So basically, you're like a Bruce Buffer. Let's go. Let's get it on. And you just watch them. You stand back and watch them. The linesmen aren't getting in there.
Yeah.
They don't get paid enough to get punched in the face by those guys. Those guys are monsters.
Yeah. So now back at that time, Bob, like now we're talking like kind of earlier 2000s, right?
Yeah.
So now back at that time, if there was a big game, like if there was like a Probert versus a Domi matchup or something like that,
Yeah.
did you guys have your pregame like meeting about what might happen with the extracurricular things?
Yeah, the guys, we went out for lunch like that. We had our routine for the day, but we'd all meet for lunch and we'd all talk about who's playing that night. And, you know, if something happened in the game before, you know, you go over it. If a supervisor's there, you'd meet him too and he'd come. But you just know because everyone had a role to play and they did their job well.
Exactly. So now, I know I'm scattering a little bit, but it's really important to me to outline this talking point. Now, I just got to make sure that I have the right date. So, November 11th, 2001.
Yeah.
So we're talking
Long
2
time
months.
ago.
Yeah, long time ago. 2 months after the 9/11.
Yeah.
So lots of tension in the world. Lots of crying, lots of emotion because of what happened in 9/11.
Yeah.
Now, this is a very special day for you, brother. This was your first National Hockey League
Number
game
one.
as a referee.
Yep.
So now my question to you is first, how does one find out that they got called up to the National Hockey League when they're a ref? Are you guys all in the AHL at the time? I know there's scheduling, but
Yep.
like, do you get a call like how the players do? Like
No.
how does that work?
No. You literally just get your assignments. They come in because I think there was 6 or 7 of us at the time that were NHL, AHL guys. And you get your assignments, you go, oh, I guess I got an NHL game. Awesome.
Really?
So then you just start playing and I got my parents there and it's like I got other family there and friends and, you know, we got to book flights but there was no flights. So we just drove and, you know, it was in Chicago. So
Yeah.
but it was pretty cool.
So now hold on. So Bob, so let me try to react this. So you got your schedule. You're looking at your schedule.
Oh, we were big time then. We actually had our
So
laptops. We had our
laptops.
laptops.
Okay, so it's like a laptop. So you got your laptop, and you're like, Chicago NHL Blackhawks.
Yeah.
That's NHL. Like,
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
It's gotta be like,
Because we obviously
like-
did NHL exhibition, and then
Okay.
it's like, all right, and then all of a sudden you get, because it was my second year, and I was like, oh, I guess I got an NHL game.
who was the first call you made when you found out about NHL?
Uh,
Like, was it your parents or?
Probably my parents,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
'Cause my dad, they were pumped, because they literally came to every game I played, every game I reffed. They followed me around. They drove me to tryouts. So they were obviously the first people for sure.
And then, so like, I mean, I talk about this with the players all the time, brother. Like, do you feel that that's a family accomplishment? Your parents taking over minor hockey, giving you all these opportunities, the time keep, to ref, to really enjoy, like a real joy for the game.
Yeah.
Now you're in the show.
Yeah.
You're in the show, man. Right?
Yeah, it was a huge day. It's obviously it's a family thing, because if it wasn't for my parents, obviously I wouldn't have been there. Like, my mom and dad supported me through everything, drove me to games and practices, and then literally came to game to watch me ref. Like, that's pretty awesome.
It's really, really cool,
Yeah.
man. And like, you know what? For someone, like, for your parents, like their son being in control of an NHL game, everything is up to you. Like, that's such a big feeling, man. Like congratulations. Like, it's incredible
for
just
sure.
thinking about
Thank
it. I
you.
got the goosebumps
Yeah,
going.
no, it was pretty awesome.
It's really cool. So, thank you for sharing that. I got to switch everything up a little bit here,
All right,
okay? We're going
all
to
right.
lighten things up a little bit here. We're going to talk about someone that is both our heroes. I'm going to share a little story, and I'd love for you to share a story after.
All right.
So now I'm playing for the Rochester Americans, and, you know, we're the affiliate of the Buffalo Sabres, and there was always a thing back in the day that Mario Lemieux, Super Mario, would never play in Buffalo. Now, I don't know the reason why. I don't know if it's because Montreal is so close to Buffalo. Maybe they gave him a day off so he could see his family. Not really sure. We go to a game. Super Mario's not dressed. It's after the game, and, you know, we're all kind of, you know, starstruck looking over at Mario. We're meeting the players after the game where all the families and players meet. And Jason Pominville says to me, "Hey, do you guys want to meet Mario?" And we're like, "Man, shut up, man. You don't know Mario like that. You can't do that." He's like, "Yeah, I can, man. We live in the same neighborhood. I'm going to go see him right now." So he goes over, gets Mario Lemieux, 6'6".
And Palmer's here.
Jason Pominville, 5'11". Mario's hands are like this. He comes over, comes and shakes my hand, and I don't think I've ever been more starstruck in my life. Like, one of my favorite players of all time.
Yep.
I'll never forget that moment. I know Mario's one of your favorite players too. Is he your favorite player?
He was my favorite player. That's 100%.
Did you have
my
to
last
wear a
year of
certain
minor
number?
hockey? My last year of minor hockey, I wore number 66 when I played. 100%.
There you go. Now, I know that you did have a pretty cool experience of, you know, I think you were nursing an injury and you had to go into the dressing room. Do you mind sharing that, man?
Yeah,
it's really, really cool.
It was, and all hockey players know lace bite. Lace bite's the worst thing ever.
Yes.
So I'm like, and I usually suck it up, but it was like ridiculous. So I went over before the morning skate at the old Igloo.
So this is in Pittsburgh.
In Pittsburgh at the Igloo, I'm on the trainer's table, and I'm getting, you know, he's looking at me for lace bite, and all of a sudden Mario comes in, sits down beside me on their trainer's table. I'm like, all right, that's all right.
It's only Mario.
So then he goes, "Hey, what's going on?" I'm like, lace bite. And he's like, "Okay, well, this is what I did." And he's saying he takes a Band-Aid and puts peanut butter in it and another Band-Aid to get a cushion. I'm like, "Oh, that's great. There's no way I'm putting peanut butter in my skate." But I'm thinking, that's awesome. It's Mario. So whatever. So he's like telling me, and I'm like, "Yeah, for sure, man. That's great." But then, of course, he signs a stick for me, signs a jersey for me. And then we're literally on the ice. We got our picture taken together before the game. Not 2 minutes into the game, he's telling me to wake the fuck up. So I'm like, all right, that's pretty cool. Like, that's
so he
cool.
chirped you.
Oh, huge. Right.
Come on, ref, wake up.
2 minutes into the game, 2 minutes after we got our picture taken together. So I was like, all right. Said, all right, that's pretty cool. But it was awesome because that guy was like
that is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I got to tell you. So thank you for sharing that. I mean, Mario, he's one of a kind, man. I mean, the guy was like probably the only player in history that did not get criticized for just hanging out on the blue line waiting for the breakaway
puck
pass.
would just come to him. It would follow him around. It was awesome.
It was unreal. Okay, so Bob, so now when I do these shows, like I love to reminisce, but there's a lot of things that are currently happening right now, and you know, we mentioned it. I just want to make sure that we're saying the right letters. WOSHL.
That's right, the
Yeah,
Washel.
the Washel.
Yeah.
Now, can we talk about the Washel a little bit?
Sure.
Like I, you know what I mean? Like I'm affiliated with the Plattsville Lakers, Jeff's there, and the league seems like it's really getting better. Like it's, you know, they added teams to the league. Like the social media is really cool for each team. How are you finding that the league's going right now?
It's growing big time. Like we're getting the attention out there. It's great with the ref jerseys. We got league sponsors. The players are getting better. We're going to expand again next year. It's like really good semi-pro hockey in southwestern Ontario.
Yeah.
Like it's good. It's like something they missed. People that are done playing junior, place for them to play. Ex-pros, ex-European guys. We got a few guys with NHL experience, a lot of American League experience.
100%.
It's great. It's an awesome league, and it's only going to get better.
And so, like right now, like with the crowds and stuff, I know that some of those barns, man, the atmosphere in it gets pretty fired up.
Yeah,
like,
they try to make it that because we want to go the old minor pro, like not as far as the Savannah Bananas, but you know what, just get a little atmosphere in there and put butts in the seats and give them a good show.
For sure. So now, as far as that league goes, I heard rumors that the league above and the WOSHL, eventually they might combine and create like a super league.
Yeah.
But that may be down the line. I'm just happy with these teams, the way that they're building, the way that the players are coming together. I think it's great. I plan on playing in the league this year.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about it.
And I'll ref it for sure when you're playing. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'll make sure. I assign the games. I'm the director of hockey operations.
Yeah,
and I run the referees.
Okay, so let's get into that.
I will assign myself on those games.
Okay, awesome.
Sure.
So you've heard it here first.
That's right.
When I do play in the league, Bob will be. You're going to be the ref.
100%. I will be the ref.
Okay, man.
That's right.
Yeah, awesome. That's great. So now that's a big weight off my shoulders because I was worried that I'd have a bad ref reffing my game.
That's right. There you go. There's no such thing as a bad ref. Some are just unluckier than others sometimes.
There you go, man. I got to correct myself. So Bob, honestly, man, like I'm ecstatic of what we were able to talk about so far. The journey that you had, the uniqueness in the beginning, everything with the minor hockey. I think that we should dedicate this episode to your mother. You know, like she's retiring 45 years. 45 years?
That's 45. This is her 45th season. That's it.
That's it.
It's pretty solid.
I got to get you to say her full name just so we can acknowledge.
Pat Langdon.
Okay, there you go.
It's pretty
there
solid.
This is dedicated to you. So Bob, honestly, man, like I told you before, we might go a little bit over the time we have. This has felt like it's been 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I appreciate it so much, man. I've had so much fun, bro.
Thank
you.
I
appreciate you for coming out, man. This is unbelievable. Thank you so much. I know that the crowd really appreciates it, man. And I want to thank everyone for tuning in to another episode of The Sheriff featuring my buddy, Bob Langdon. We'll see you soon, guys. Woo!
500 pro fights in his career. Got the record for most ice fights in a season. You fought the sheriff, lucky you're still breathing. Let's go!